I know stats could prove me wrong, but I don't think anyone would argue against the statement that a lot of modern anime seems to feature teenagers in some sort of school. Comedic school anime has been a mainstay for as long as I can remember, and it seems they won't be going away anytime soon. Anime's found a way to look at school life from different angles. There are a lot of anime that feature school life, but that doesn't mean they're cut from the same cloth. So now it's time for something different from the usual content. We're taking a look now at the top 10 school comedy anime. For this edition of our top 10, we start with Teasing master Takagi-san. This is a simple anime. The story centers on Nishikata, a poor boy who finds himself on the receiving end of endless teasing from his classmate Takagi. He vows to get revenge on his classmate by embarrassing her, but unfortunately for him, reprieve is nowhere in sight. After all, Takagi knows him inside out and outsmarts him at every single turn. Now, while it doesn't have a long, overarching plot, the show guarantees ample laughter due to the creativity and plotting by the main characters. Nishikata and Takagi going at each other is a sequence that you just won't get tired of. A second season's currently airing, so be sure to get your dose of smug Takagi now. Before we get on with the video, I'd like to give a shout out to this video sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. For those who don't know, Raid Shadow Legends is a brand new collection RPG game that's taken the mobile gaming landscape by storm. It has great graphics, strategic gameplay, huge boss fights, an amazing storyline, and over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. Personally, I think the game's amazing, and I don't think I've seen too many mobile games with this level of graphics. The other thing I love about it is that everyone can find something for themselves. Some love collecting characters, some are all about the deep storyline and graphics, and I personally am down for combating against live players, but that's just me. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description, click on the special link, and you'll instantly get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. At number 9, we follow Chiyo's story in Monthly Girl's Nozakikun. This anime revolves around Chiyo Sakura, who finally gathers up the courage to confess to her crush Nozaki. To her dismay, the dense Nozaki isn't exactly the brightest when it comes to reciprocating a girl's feelings. Furthermore, Nozaki turns out to be a popular manga artist and interprets her confession as wanting to be his assistant. Hilarity ensues as Chiyo gets involved in Nozaki's manga work and is introduced to schoolmates and people with their own entertaining quirks. For me, this anime's strong suit is in its characters. In its 12-run episode, the show never fails to entertain through its colourful cast. So once you've watched the show, I'm certain you'll find a character you can relate to and take delight in seeing the dynamics between the characters, as well as the development of their relationships. Our number 8 entry shouldn't be a stranger to a lot of people. It's the ever-popular My Teen romantic comedy Snafu. This anime stars antisocial teenager Hachiman Hikigaya. He doesn't believe in the joys of youth and drones on in his cynical worldview. He gets forced to join a service club where he gets acquainted with Yukino. Now in the last place he actually wants to be, Hachiman is thrust straight into helping other students with their problems. For those of us who've had a similar phase of cynicism, this anime is probably one of the better recommendations on the list, as it takes a different perspective from the typical anime rom-com. In lieu of a blossoming romance with comedy between its characters, Snafu focuses on characters who find it difficult to fit in, and in the case of Hachiman, one who rejects the standardized ideas of the joys of youth. Charming yet frank and realistic characterizes Snafu as an anime. It also functions as an interesting commentary on people with social problems while not being overly blunt with its messages. At number 7, we take a look at Real Life. Arata Kaizaki is a directionless 27-year-old man. After quitting his job, he encounters a man from the Real Life Research Institute. He proposes a mysterious drug to Arata that can change his appearance to a 17-year-old, allowing him to once again enter high school and have a second go at youth. However, he also finds that this makes him the subject of an experiment, and to add to that, high school life doesn't turn out to be as easy as he envisioned. Rewards await him if he completes the year, but if anyone discovers his true identity, all of his memories will be wiped clean. Real life handles a subject that's likely to pique anyone's interest. The idea of taking yourself back to the past and living with your superior experience could have crossed your mind before. And if you're like me, one of those people, Real Life should be an anime for you. The pacing is slow at times, but the show has its moments and is certainly a unique take on the school anime genre. Sixth on the list is action comedy anime Beelzebub. Tatsumi Oga's a first year at the delinquent-filled war zone known as Ishiyama High. He's not just any other first-year student though, he's the school's top fighter, evidenced by his nickname, Rampaging Ogre. His world's shaken one day when he becomes the foster parent of the Demon King's son, Baby Beal. Initially reluctant to raise the baby that's become attached to him, Oga's mind changes thanks to an encounter with a demon maid who ends up acting as Baby Beal's mother. Hijinks ensue as Oga must now adjust to the responsibility of raising the future Demon King. Faced by other demonic forces, juvenile delinquents, and the challenges of high school life, this gargantuan task's now a lot more challenging than it initially sounded. If you're up for some absurd action and a dash of crass humor in an anime that doesn't take itself too seriously, you might want to give this show a shot. Hailing from KyoAni, Nichijou takes its place as number 5 on the list. Among the studio's numerous big successes such as K-On! And Harui, one can find this hidden gem. It's a comedy that revolves around Mio, Yuki and Mai, a trio of high school girls and their daily antics. Now, while it may seem simple and unspectacular, the show overall is anything but. Seeing pure comedy like Nichijou is rare, since most shows claiming to be comedy often have a plot that glues everything together, and if not, they typically have interesting supernatural aspects to fall back on. Good comedy combines a lot of different elements such as a story that drags you along or interesting gimmicks in the hopes of keeping its viewers stuck to their seats. Nichijou has none of these. It's a slice-of-life anime that takes pride in its simplicity and outrageousness, but it more than makes up for it with fun characters, a lack of restraint when it comes to creativity, and sheer silliness that's sure to get a few chuckles out of you. It's a show solely designed to make you laugh because it's absurd, and that isn't a bad thing at all. Watch out, our 4th ranked school comedy anime is Prison School. Prison School's the story of 5 boys who enter a prestigious all-girls school thanks to a change in the school's rules. While that may be a dream come true for some, the girls in the academy shun them for some strange reason. Their rough welcome continues as they get caught peeping and are sentenced to jail in a giant prison conveniently placed in the campus. The boys' bonds will be tested as they undergo a torturous rehabilitation program at the hands of the underground student council. Now, the cool thing about Prison School is that it's a rarity among school comedies, with its plethora of ecchi scenes, comedy based on overreactions and awkward situations, and intricate mysteries. This certainly isn't a show for someone looking for a safe, light-hearted foray into high school life, but it can certainly claim to be one of the few recent school comedies to blend those serious and non-serious elements together so well. Now, it may be a different blend of the same tea, but for those that fit snugly into its target demographic, Prison School's nonetheless one of the funnier comedies to come out in recent years. As we approach the top 3, here's a look at Daily Lives of High School Boys. Daily Lives of High School Boys is exactly what the title says. Daily Life of High School Boys. The story follows the various misadventures of 3 high school boys as they go on their hilarious routines. No day is boring with these 3 around. I think the Daily Lives of High School Boys is more than just a gender-flipped version of the usual cute girls doing cute things shows that we've grown so familiar with. This show places huge emphasis on comedy, and it takes a certain amount of talent to turn otherwise mundane situations into comedy goldmines. It even goes the extra mile with parodies and jokes that border on breaking the fourth wall. Divided into short segments, none of the episodes are tiring to watch at all, instead providing an atmosphere that's light and simple and conducive to quick, short laughs. If you're an ardent anime watcher, this show will provide you with enough laughs and jokes that you can relate to. Great Teacher Onizuka proudly claims its 2nd place standing on this list. Old, but gold. That certainly summarizes what's been one of the more enduring school comedies throughout the years. A reformed delinquent looking for direction in life. Looks like Onizuka is a perfect candidate for a teacher, right? Well, he certainly thinks so. He gets his wish, but with one twist. He's placed in charge of a class that seems to be hell-bent on making his life miserable. Luckily, Onizuka isn't your conventional teacher. What else can you expect from someone with a background like his? The show successfully mixes its signature style of comedy with some inspirational messages thanks to its amazing titular character. Onizuka is by no means a saint, but despite his flaws and shortcomings, viewers learn to love him. For all of his womanizing, drinking, and over-the-top antics, Onizuka certainly shares some life lessons that could move anyone who gives this show a shot. Truly a great teacher, if you ask me. Great Teacher Onizuka is a fantastic and inspirational anime, and its legacy after all these years certainly speaks to that. At the very top of this list we have Kaguya-sama, Love is War. Miyuki and Kaguya seem to be the perfect couple. One's a genius who claims to have some of the highest grades in the country, while the other's the heir of a wealthy family that owns one of the largest companies in Japan. What seems to be a match made in heaven is hindered by pride. Even if they have feelings for one another, their pride doesn't allow them to confess their love. That's because the first one to confess would be declared the loser. Putting pride on the line, the two engage in a battle to make the other side confess first. It's a battle of wits like no other. Imagine Takagi-san's setup, but crank it up to 11, and we have Kaguya-sama, Love is War. Essentially, we have two tsunderes falling in love with one another, but they're also geniuses who'd rather die than allow themselves to lose. We have high-level plotting courtesy of our main characters taking the place of the usual goofy comedy present in shows of this genre. Of course, that isn't all. Other characters such as Chika add more dimension to what's already an interesting setup for 12 episodes of great entertainment. There's a reason why this show ended up becoming one of the most popular shows in winter 2019 and the #1 show on this list. With that, we end this list. It turns out school anime comes in all forms, right? There really is something for everyone, so if you have another show that you want to recommend, feel free to let your voices be heard in the comments section. Perhaps there's another hidden gem that I forgot to include on the list, and if so, I'd love to hear from you about it. If you enjoyed the video and liked my recommendations, hit the like and notification bell button so that you never miss videos like these. Don't forget to check out our sponsors game, Raid Shadow Legends. The link's in the description. I'll see you next time on ViniiTube.